shorty, okay, shorty, okay, shorty, okay, shorty, okay, shorty, okay, shorty, go to that bag, go to that bag, go to that bag, go to that bag, okay, shorty, 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 go to that bag, go to that bag, go to that bag, go to that bag.
What's good, y'all boys? Man, your boy LAMadeDaviae back on the video, man. Hey, today we about to react to Spider-Man brand new day suit reveal, new web series by 3C Films. Now, we about to get into the breakdowns of this, you know what I'm saying? We gotta see little hints, details, what people gotta talk about. I'm about to probably have to do this in two, so we about to get two reactions for y'all boys, man, one video. So, I'm gonna react to 3C Films, and then I'm gonna react to Emergency Awesome video right after this. So this is gonna be a long video, so make sure y'all got y'all snacks, everything y'all need. Let's get into it, gang.
Sony and Marvel have finally revealed our first look at the new Tom Holland Spider-Man suit for Spider-Man Brand New Day, and as soon as I saw
Clean, 100%, bro. I like the suit. It's giving TEASER vibes, bro, real talk.
this little reveal, in my little spider heart, all I could think was, so what I'm going to be doing here for you guys real quick is breaking down.
What mask is that? Is that gonna be his new mask? If it is, this is gonna be tough.
So what I'm going to be doing here for you guys real quick is breaking down this little 20-second teaser where they've basically revealed 80% of the new Spider-Man suit, what changes they have made from the suit at the end of No Way Home, because it looks like they were actually trying to capture the style of that same suit. Looking at the new web shooters, what the mask could look like, when we could actually get a look at the mask, that and along with so much more. But please, Spider-Man fans, let me know, is this now automatically the best Tom Holland Spider-Man?
No, for sure it is. This is for sure the best, bro. For sure.
Man suit, because I'm gonna say it is to me. Unless that mask is something absolutely awful and atrocious, this is now my favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man suit. But please let me know your opinions down below. Okay, so yesterday we got the little tease for the suit where they just kind of gave us the shoulder, a bit of the chest, and a lot of us, including myself, were just excited we were getting raised webbing. That's something Tom Holland suits have never had, and I think it just adds a lot of texture and personality. And even our guesses of it basically being the suit from the end of No Way Home ended up being correct thanks to this little teaser. It starts off with Tom Holland on a soundstage about to begin filming, which they are gearing up for that now. We're getting set photos of those armored trucks moving and knocking down other cars on the street, and that's a big reason why Sony revealed the suit in this professional manner, because we're about to get set photos galore and all kinds of different angles of this suit. So the mask reveal is soon approaching.
Yeah, this suit, bro. Just imagine the other set photos that are gonna be happening with this suit. Oh my gosh, bro. And now he really gets stuff now, because this really is in the works right now, so things about to get crazy.
As well as a look at the back, because I think a lot of us are wanting Spider-Man back shots. You know I am. But now just taking a look at the actual footage and what we have, I'm liking this slow piano theme of the Tom Holland Spider-Man score. We got it in the little teaser yesterday, and we have it added on here as well.
That song is just so, bro, fire.
We ready?
And it gets me a little emotional as a Spider-Man fan. We're entering an era where we're getting another big Spider-Man movie. Tom Holland is returning for a fourth time, which is a first for a solo Spider-Man movie. We have never gotten to a fourth solo film. This beautiful suit, all in all,
right. We never have gone to the fourth one, bro. That's crazy. This is the first ever fourth Spider-Man movie, bro. Live action wise. Man.
Enough to make a grown man cry, alright? But once I got past my emotions involved with this, looking at this suit, yes, it basically is an updated version of the suit that we got at the end of No Way Home, with some major changes. For one, the suit at the end of No Way Home did not have raised webbing. We know this one does, and it's very subtle. If you look at like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, it has the raised webbing, but there's a lot of lines, like a lot of them. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it definitely stands out. Here, they spaced out the lines lines the perfect amount. They are actually visible. They shine good in the light. I mean, when Tom Holland's turning in this, the suit is glistening in a way that I think is going to make it look so good on camera. The actual spider symbol is also the same from the end of No Way Home. It looks like maybe they just separated the head from the body, but I do love this spider symbol, and I'm glad they didn't go back to the tiny symbol on his chest. This feels unique to Tom Holland, so I'm happy that he has that, and hopefully he has that on the back. Another change that I'm very happy with is the blue is a bit of a darker blue. I wasn't too against the light blue at the end of No Way Home, but it was just a little too light and a little too silky looking. I know some people loved it. I was just always kind of iffy on it. I think going to this version where it's not as silky, but it does have a texture feel to it similar to the TASM suit. You can kind of notice it again when Tom Holland's turning and some of the light hits it. It's not really silky. It's kind of feels more a little bit of that rubbery material, and I love that.
I can't wait for the swinging scenes. Oh my gosh, bro. I know that's probably gonna be similar to TASM, bro, to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, bro. I just really mess with the suit because I mess with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man heavy, bro. Real talk. Wide action Peter Parker wide, bro. Heavy. And his suit is fire. So to bring that kind of back in and make it a different way, but you could kind of tell it's like the same like how his was, it's just fire, bro.
I think this is the perfect shade of blue, and it complements the red very nicely. And oh boys, thank goodness they didn't ruin the belt. That's always the thing that can make or break a Spider-Man suit, and the belt is perfect, clean cut, classic. Like, this suit looks so freaking good. Easily my favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man suit. They nailed it with this one. I'm glad they didn't go overcomplicated, and it's gonna suck the next movie if they change it, but we'll see. Maybe this director is like fighting Marvel and saying, no, can we have him stay in this suit for the whole trilogy? Because I'd be okay with that. But all right, let's talk about probably the most controversial part of this suit. As I was zooming in and looking at Tom Holland's crotch to make sure Sony got the belt for this Spider-Man right, my eyes averted to something pretty big. We have new web shooters for this Spider-Man, and yeah, look, I get it. People are not gonna love these. They are bulky, big, stick out, and kind of ruin a little bit of the suit, making it 99% perfect right now. But I'm already kind of justifying this in my mind, and I feel it's gonna work out story-wise. So we know web shooters has always been kind of an important part of Spider-Man. It's a thing that the movie could use to its advantage, because what happens when Spider-Man runs out of web fluid or his shooters get destroyed? He has to get a little bit more creative with his fighting. It's always something fun that they can do. Tom Holland now is in a situation where he's broke. He's struggling. I can't wait to see what job he has to make ends meet, how he allocates his money between personal life to Spider-Man stuff, and without a rich billionaire there to give him the most high-tech suit possible, where web shooters can be so small and ingrained into his wrist, this shows me this Spider-Man is working with what he has readily available. We know Andrew Garfield's version basically turned a wristwatch into a web shooter. I thought that was a nice detail, and I'm curious if this is like some sort of household device he's turned into web shooters, and he just doesn't have the money or the equipment to make them as small as he would like, so they're a little bigger. It's really just a showcase that this is a Spider-Man who's gonna be a little less high-tech, and I'm all up for it. So that's already kind of the justification in my mind, is these bulky, bigger web shooters are again going back to the days with his homemade suit where he had really big and bulky web shooters. So if you think about it, in this version of Peter Parker's line of progress, this is as small as he's gotten with his web shooters. At least web shooters that he's made with his own hands. And you know what? Even staring at them a little bit more,
I mean, I see what people mean though. Thinking about them being big and stuff like that. Pause, but I gotta sneeze, y'all. Hold on. Thank you. But yeah, bro, I see what people mean, bro, how it's like big and stuff like that, and it ain't like, you know, how Spider-Man, my fault, another sneeze coming in, my fault, y'all. But I see what people mean by the web shooters, bro, and I say like they cool, bro, for his, you know what I'm saying, for what he got now, bro. But it's not really throwing off the suit like that, you feel me? But I feel like it's still gonna be good, you know, even though his rupture is big and stuff. Like, I ain't complaining, bro. Like, this is fire to me. y'all just complaining, bro. But I ain't gonna lie, I want everything like the Spider-Man stuff. But me personally, I think it's fire.
Feels like there's some more buttons and almost like a screen to it. I wonder if he's able to switch the style of web shooters, like, you know, throwing out big puffy balls, maybe a parachute. Like, maybe there's modes on there, and that's why it has to be big, so Spider-Man can change what kind of web shooters he wants. I wouldn't mind seeing that. As long as it's Peter Parker who made the tech and is using it himself, I will be happy. I was just always bothered by Spider-Man being given these $1 million of equipment. It feels so much more personal and better to the character if it's his own equipment. Aside from that though, like I said, everything else about this suit is screaming perfection to me. The suit part of this is now no longer something I have to worry about. The only other thing is, how does this all play into the movie? Last night we got the confirmation Scorpion is returning. Mark Ruffalo's the Hulk will be in this movie alongside the Punisher. A lot of these journalists are theorizing that they'll end up fighting, because that's usually what happens in these superhero crossovers, is the heroes fight for a little bit before they make up and face a bigger threat. We have those armored trucks that have the symbol for Mr. Negative on them. Is he a main villain? Tombstone, Boomerang, Tarantula. This movie is set to be really packed. And it's even funny hearing some people say now that the Hulk is confirmed, it doesn't make it feel like a street level story. I think this perception of the Hulk is both jaded both ways, where I get that the Hulk can be this ultra powerful, like, punching, planet destroying being, but for a lot of the times the Hulk is usually fighting the army, regular people, causing havoc on the streets. I think the Hulk is that kind of character where you can throw him into space and the story will make sense. Have him be part of a street level story and it'll make sense. So I'm not too worried about the Hulk ruining that. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But the only thing I'm waiting on now is these set photos. I want to see what this mask looks like, how the lens work, the back of the suit. But even having not seen any of those, best Tom Holland Spider-Man suit. I'm fighting you on this. Let me know what you guys thought about this suit reveal, what you loved about
100% the best.
What you think of the web shooters, some of the changes, the confirmation of all these characters now. Everything. Be sure to like, subscribe.
I just like how it's more like it's inspired from Andrew, bro. That's tough.
Follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.
Alright, bro. What should we get to? Emergency awesome. Here you go, y'all. Two videos in one, like I said. All these ads, bro. Here we go. Man, bro, this suit is tough, bro. I might react to a third, I don't know yet. Maybe comment one, I don't know yet, but we're gonna see. I also see what everybody talking about.
Welcome back, everyone. Top of the morning again. Sony and Marvel released another trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day, this time with a full Tom Holland.
I'm not gonna lie, for Marvel and Sony, bro, I'm gonna start having my noise on, bro, so that way I could catch up on things, bro, because I'd be late, look, I ain't gonna lie.
Suit reveal that a lot of people were expecting they might be doing when they dropped the teaser yesterday. After Sony wiped all their social media a couple days ago, I think we all sensed that something like this was coming, so everybody can just post all your reactions to this new suit in the comments. And it confirms a whole bunch of theories and clarifies a lot of the details that it's taking from the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man suits in their era of the films. There's a bunch of new scenes that they're filming right now, so we'll break it all down because it seemingly confirms a lot of the plot of the actual movie. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos.
Is that Spider-Man? That's like, it might be.
The actual post that Sony, Marvel, and their accounts all posted said, "Are you ready?" in the caption with 7/31/2026, which is the release date of the movie, and Tom Holland basically asking if they're ready to go, waiting in the warehouse, ready to walk out because his stunt double is currently filming a scene on top of one of the tanks with a symbol on it that a lot of people are theorizing looks similar to the Inner Demons symbol of Martin Lee, Mr. Negative's gang, so they might be controlling these tanks at some point during the movie. That might be why Spider-Man is having a big fight scene on top of one of the tanks, because he's fighting with the Inner Demons. All the Hollywood trades, Variety, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, confirmed that Mark Ruffalo's Hulk will also be in the movie with John Bernthal's Punisher coming back. And they confirm, big surprise, that Michael Mando's Scorpion is coming back from that Spider-Man Homecoming post-credit scene. Everybody wondering when we're going to see him again. And it sounds like he might actually be in a more comic book accurate Scorpion suit, which they actually did a version of during Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But that's set in a completely different universe, so it's a completely different character playing that Scorpion. Zoom and enhance a whole bunch of times on this suit though. This looks like it's actually made using...
That's another thing. I'm wondering how the Scorpion suit gonna look, bro. And this is our first time ever getting the Scorpion live action wise. This is about to be crazy.
Using the same material that he had at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home when he made that version of the suit. It actually seems pretty close to that version of the suit with some minor changes like the raised webbing that we saw in the teaser that Sony released yesterday. But it's the same blue shiny material, it seems like the same red cloth, so it seems like he just took the suit that he was wearing at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home and it just tuned it up over the time since the events of that movie. There have been a couple years that have gone by, so it makes sense that if he's doing all this stuff himself, he would just be relying on the materials that he has access to, and he has all this extra fabric, all this stuff from his previous versions of the suits. Probably one of the other most identifiable changes is his Spider-Man symbol, and it looks much more inspired by Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man symbols. Like, big upgrade from the previous Spider-Man suits that he's been wearing the last couple MCU Spider-Man films. Maximum zoom and enhance here, you can actually see some of the raised textures on that red fabric that you saw at the fabric at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home too. Zoom and enhance again, one of the other important details that I think a lot of people are missing is that you actually get a brief shot of his new web shooters. So it actually seems like he's been tinkering with them the past couple of years too, enhancing them. There are a lot of benefits and a lot of problems that come with doing CG suits, and one of the crazy things that Marvel does is that even just regular scenes with him walking around, not doing any big action scenes or anything special in particular, Marvel will still do a lot of CG for those scenes, even though Tom Holland is walking around on set with a practical suit on. It's kind of crazy. Because I make a lot of these videos wearing Marvel shirts or whatever the video's actually about, the Spider-Man marketing people several years ago actually sent me a Spider-Man suit, not a real suit that Tom Holland wears, just like a suit that you could buy off the rack to actually wear in my videos, but I was in way worse shape, so I haven't actually tried it on yet, since I actually lost all this weight. Maybe now that I'm in shape again, I should actually try it on for a video and just not tell anybody till they actually see the video. There is hope though. Tom Holland actually said one of the biggest differences with this movie from the previous MCU Spider-Man
and it's make a Miles Morales to send it to me, gang. At the top.
Movies, particularly Spider-Man No Way Home, is that they were severely limited, at least in the last film, by what happened with COVID. There were severe restrictions on how they were able to film stuff, so they weren't able to do all the stuff that they wanted to do or in the way that they wanted to do it. Cut to today, they don't have any of those restrictions. This is why they're doing a lot of outdoor shooting and why you're seeing a lot of people taking pictures of everything. Everybody trying to get those Spider-Man pics, trying to get J. Jonah Jameson to pay them some money. Bring him all those clips of Spider-Man. A couple of the other notable things that you see here, beside the actual suit itself, is his haircut. Notice how he has short hair again like this. There are a lot of questions about what he was just physically going to look like a couple years into just being Spider-Man 24/7, because Amy Pascal, Kevin Feige said that that's kind of the deal with the character right now after that second spell. He basically tried to leave behind his identity as Peter Parker. Like, obviously he still knows that he's Peter Parker, but everyone else forgot about him, which is why he had to get his GED, because none of his records at his school existed anymore, so he had to get his high school equivalency so that he could attend college. We'll see if that winds up turning into an Empire State arc during this next trilogy of movies.
Give me rent.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hockley from Sandy Hook Promise. The shooter who murdered my son at...
There's so much going on during this movie and so many characters, they might just completely swerve on Empire State in general, just say that it takes place when school is not in session. Next big detail that you noticed during this trailer they released is the actual Spider-Man theme. So it's another piano version of Michael Giacchino's Spider-Man theme, just tuned down a little bit. He actually retweeted the trailer that they released yesterday too, so he might actually be doing some more music for this movie. Most of you remember him as the guy that does scores for a lot of the big movies. He just did the Fantastic Four score. It's amazing. It's a great soundtrack. But he also directed the Werewolf by Night special presentation movie inside the MCU a couple of years ago. We will see if they ever follow up with that character during like a Midnight Suns project. But now you can see why Sony released this trailer ahead of them actually filming, because he's going to be walking outside filming scenes in broad daylight. People will be taking pictures of it. So Sony and Marvel really want to get ahead of a lot of those paparazzi potato quality videos and just release a shiny HD version on their own terms. This happens with all the Marvel movies. It happens with all the DC movies, like James Gunn did it when they were revealing all the Superman stuff. But they will be tuning a lot of this up with special effects, particularly the way his mask works with the eyes. That's probably the only thing that we don't actually get from this, is that he doesn't
I can't wait to see how that mask looks. That mask gonna probably look crazy.
put his mask on, so we don't know how the eyes have actually changed, but I'm assuming they'll be relatively similar to the previous suit. Also, because this suit looks so similar to the one at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, with just a couple minor tweaks like the raised webbing. It's totally possible that since the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, Kevin Feige and the Sony people have just come around on what they want to do with this next version of his suit, and they're just refining it, tweaking little things that they wanted to change when they were originally doing Spider-Man No Way Home, but because there was so much of a deadline on that movie and it was so hard actually doing stuff during COVID in general, that it sounds like, based on what Tom Holland was saying, they weren't able to do everything that they wanted to do or take the time they wanted on things.
Oh my God, I just can't.
There were some reports that John Bernthal's Punisher was supposed to be part of this action scene that he's filming on top of these tanks. I don't know if that's meant to be true, because John Bernthal has also been filming the Punisher special presentation in New York City. So it'd be really hard for him to go to Glasgow and film some of these Spider-Man scenes. If they do wind up doing that, maybe it's just going to be a stand-in for his character and they'll CG his face onto it, or he just won't be in the scene at all. During the report where Variety, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter were talking about Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, John Bernthal's Punisher, Michael Mando's Scorpion, all being in the movie, the way they talked about the whole setup between all the different heroes is that John Bernthal's Punisher, the Hulk, and Tom Holland's Spider-Man will all fight each other at first until they discover who the real villain is, which presumably theories are that it's Martin Lee, Mr. Negative. A lot of people have been asking, what is the Punisher? What is Spider-Man going to do against the Hulk? I think Spider-Man has a pretty solid chance of evading the Hulk, even though the Hulk is very, very fast. If you remember the Incredible Hulk movie with all those scenes of Thunderbolt Ross sending Blonsky against Bruce Banner Hulk, especially before he got the super soldier serum and started turning into the Abomination, just imagine Punisher getting his hands on a lot of really, really big weapons and being able to use those against the Hulk to slow him down. I think that's the key word, slow him down. When it comes to characters like Michael Mando's Scorpion, the big question is, how does he get out of prison? Because presumably he's serving a life sentence. So does it have something to do with the blip? Does it have something to do with what's happening with Mayor Kingpin right now? Is he on work release? Is it going to be some crazy explanation? Early on, when people were trying to guess what the actual plot of the movie would be, there were a lot of theories that they would actually try to do an MCU version of the Sinister Six, and Kingpin would be the one to just basically pull those villains, those Spider-Man villains, out of prison and slowly put them together on a team because of his anti-vigilante task force. The whole idea is that during Daredevil Born Again, he was basically declaring open season on Spider-Man, Daredevil, Punisher, all vigilantes of any kind, both superheroes and supervillains. But here's the crazy thing. This is where it gets to all the copyright and the rights issues with the characters, who owns what with the movies, who has the rights to what. And the way that Vincent D'Onofrio explained his Kingpin character is that in the movies, now this is just the movies, Sony has the rights to the Kingpin character. So if Kingpin is or is not in a movie, it's usually because Sony either wants or does not want him in the movie. Marvel has the rights to the character on television, which is why they were able to use him during the Daredevil Netflix series.
That's what I hate, bro, because it's always Sony doing something, bro.
During that era and during Daredevil Born Again in the MCU, without having to ask Sony for permission to use the character.
Gun-toting vigilante who wears a skull on his chest, or a man who dresses in a spider outfit.
I didn't think that Factor could help me reach my protein goals. Boy, was I wrong. Free high-protein breakfast for a year? Yeah.
Right now, because so much of their energy is being spent on trying to do a good job with Daredevil Born Again Season 2 and potential Season 3, I'm assuming that there's not going to be a lot of Kingpin, if any, in this movie. In the way that Kevin Feige talked about the connection between the TV shows and the movie, because we just saw Punisher during Daredevil Born Again Season 1, and he's showing up on the movie now. Kevin Feige revealed that they're actually going back to the era of the MCU where it wasn't quite as connected to the TV shows, just loosely connected. So they're not going to be referencing a lot of what happened during Daredevil Born Again Season 1, if anything, during this movie. Or on the other side of that, when we get to Daredevil Born Again Season 2, that season will not be referencing what happened during the events of the Thunderbolt movie with the Void covering New York City, basically almost swallowing New York City. Mostly it sounds like they're just focused on doing a lot of iconic Spider-Man Punisher team-up moments, particularly from the comics. Kevin Feige actually said that was a real big deal, trying to do things with the Punisher character that they'd never done on screen before. And a lot of the reason behind that is just because there's so many iconic Spider-Man Punisher moments in the comics, and Punisher started in a Spider-Man comic, so it just makes sense that you would try to team them up on screen at some point. When it comes to that special presentation that they're also in the middle of filming right now, that's where all that footage is from, like Manucci, a lot of that story arc. It sounds like just based on how long it takes to complete these projects and how big they are, that will release before Spider-Man Brand New Day. So it'll take place in the timeline before the events of Spider-Man Brand New Day, but after Daredevil Born Again Season 1 and possibly after Season 2. If Mr. Negative really does wind up being the main villain of the movie, he might just be behind the Scorpion and him getting a new version of his suit if he does become more comic book accurate. That feels like the payoff from the end of Spider-Man Homecoming, like slowly turning all these different characters into more comic book accurate versions of themselves. His little brace that he was wearing at the end of that movie also gave him more Scorpion vibes. So remember, he would be a more mechanical, technology-based Scorpion.
It's on our little spider friend?
And of course, we have to talk about Avengers Doomsday because this is the last movie coming out before that. I think we're all just expecting some sort of post-credit scene. If this is really meant to be a ground-level movie, just a post-credit scene that just does a better job of actually setting up the beginning of Avengers Doomsday and what's happening with Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom than we've seen in previous movies. Even the Fantastic Four post-credit scene, which they just released, was just the briefest of teasers. There were some complaints about that, saying that it was not quite enough what people were expecting. Usually when it comes to them actually filming those scenes, the Russos have been filming all the Avengers Doomsday post-credit scenes. They filmed the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. They filmed the Fantastic Four post-credit scene with Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. They will also probably do the same thing with the post-credit scene for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Usually what happens though is that they don't film those till like the very, very last minute, and they get filmed on the set.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of those moments where it's going to be like, Spider-Man will return.
Of Avengers Doomsday, not on the sets of these other movies where they actually put the post-credit scenes. So everybody just post all your reactions for Tom Holland's new Spider-Man suit and how they tweaked it since
it's probably going to be like Spider-Man, Punisher, and Hulk will return.
The end of Spider-Man No Way Home and how you think they'll change it in the future. Loving the raised webbing, love the vibe from the suit, also much more of a homemade kind of vibe. And let me know what kind of post-credit scene you actually want to see from this movie that sets up Avengers Doomsday.
I don't know.
There's a lot of other stuff going on in this movie too. A lot of characters we haven't talked about. There's a couple of surprise villains apparently. If we find out more about those in the next couple of days, of course I will do videos about that stuff too. There's going to be so much footage that they actually get from these scenes in the next couple of days. If there's something really big that they drop, I will do more Spider-Man videos based on that. Sounds like they're going to be filming for a good long while, so there should be a lot more reveals, and hopefully we'll get some more official stuff from Sony and Marvel. I just did a whole other video talking about a bunch of other stuff in the movie. Click here for that, and click here for all my Avengers Doomsday teasers that Marvel has released in the last couple of weeks.
You gotta see some crazy stuff. I feel like if anything though, I don't know if maybe he won't get the black suit by the end of this movie, but if he does though, that would be crazy. But let's see, bro. I might react to the Cosmic Wonders.
Hi, where are you?
Hey, I can't make it. I have a board meeting.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Yesterday we got our first teaser for the new Spider-Man Brand New Day film, the new suit that Spider-Man is going to wear, but it was in fact
my boy CW, bro. Crazy how my first ever reaction was doing my first ever reaction was reacting to his video about Spider-Man. I think it was either No Way Home or no, it was Far From Home. No, I think it was No Way Home. Like basically, it was talking about something like this, like saying what could possibly happen. This and that. And that was crazy. That was one crazy
A
thing.
pretty big tease. However, yesterday, even after we got this teaser, a couple of insiders said that Sony was planning to reveal more the next day, and here we are today. Kudos to them for being right. We have our official full reveal of Tom Holland's new suit, and it does seem to be at least a version of that new suit that we saw at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. I know a lot of people were really worried that it wasn't actually going to be that same new suit, but for the most part, it really does seem to be. Obviously, what we saw at the end of No Way Home was CGI, and this is now real. But as far as the patterns go, it looks pretty much the same, and we have raised webbing on this suit, which I think is an absolute win. But go ahead right away, let me know what you think about his new suit. Also, if you pay close attention to his wrists as he walks up to the camera, you can briefly see that he seemingly has new web shooters. This is definitely a new design, and keep in mind that this suit is going to be made entirely by him, as far as we know. As far as we know, he's basically on his own in Spider-Man Brand New Day, so no more Stark tech, no more help in general, back to Spider-Man pretty much doing everything himself, which I think a lot of fans have been waiting for. Now, yesterday, many things about the movie got confirmed, and we do have a plot synopsis that I want to go over, because based on what it says, it sounds like the movie just got even more epic. Now, Sony did this for Spider-Man No Way Home. They did these little videos that slowly revealed a bunch about the movie. Now, they didn't do this originally for Spider-Man Brand New Day. They revealed it at a con, but now it kind of seems like they took a page from Marvel's book where they did their Avengers Doomsday Now in Production video, but instead of making it like 10 hours long, I think they looked at the comments and the crowd reaction from everybody and they decided, hey, let's do something kind of similar. Let's tease it, let's show the suit, but let's make it pretty quick. So they gave us that teaser yesterday, and today it's basically, hey, Tom Holland is now filming, and they are filming right now in Glasgow, Scotland, and apparently they are preparing for a pretty big Punisher scene, which we're about to get into. Also, according to some new reports, a lot more characters are going to be in this film than we originally thought, and we already thought that there were going to be quite a few. But according to Daniel RPK, he states that there are so many more characters in Brand New Day, it's gonna be a crazy film. And if you didn't catch it yesterday, one thing that is now officially confirmed is that Mark Ruffalo is going to be returning as Bruce Banner / the Hulk in Spider-Man Brand New Day. This was confirmed yesterday by The Hollywood Reporter. And they also gave us, with that, a plot synopsis, which states, the plot details are being kept under the vest, but you can bet that, in the mighty Marvel manner, Spider-Man, Punisher, and Hulk will all fight one another before figuring out who the real bad guys are. So basically everything that we have heard previously about Spider-Man Brand New Day is true. All of the rumors, the reports, the leaks, they're true. We're gonna get the Punisher, we're gonna get the Hulk, and it looks like we're getting those other villains as well, such as Mr. Negative and Tombstone. But what this plot synopsis tells us is that we thought this was probably going to be a Punisher and Spider-Man team up to go up against the Hulk to try to take him down, because perhaps Spider-Man, of course, recognized that the Hulk is Bruce Banner and was once upon a time kind of his friend, if you even kind of want to call it that, but they've interacted before, even if it was briefly at Tony Stark's funeral. And there's been rumors and speculation that the Hulk might actually be Spider-Man's professor in college, which could very well be how they start to get connected again. But of course, the biggest link between the two of them is Tony Stark, and we know that, well, Tony Stark himself isn't about to return, but Dr. Doom is about to be here, and he's going to look exactly like Tony Stark. So Bruce Banner and Peter Parker bonding over their love that they had for Tony Stark in Spider-Man Brand New Day makes sense, because then in Avengers Doomsday, we're going to get our villain who looks exactly like Tony Stark. But the great news is, we're getting Bruce Banner back, and he's going to Hulk out again. All the reports that told us that the Punisher and the Hulk were going to be in this film have come true now. They are confirmed. So we have no reason to believe that the other part of that report, the part where they say we're finally getting Savage Hulk back, that's most likely true as well, since all of the other reports were true. And according to this plot synopsis from The Hollywood Reporter, we're not going to get a Hulk freaking out so the Punisher and Spider-Man team up together to take him on. No, we are going to get Spider-Man fighting the Punisher fighting the Hulk, Spider-Man fighting the Hulk fighting the Punisher, the Hulk fighting Spider-Man. They're all going to fight each other individually, and I'm assuming at the same time at some point as well. And then, like we've all been predicting, eventually they will all realize that they're not the bad guys. The Hulk's not the bad guy, Punisher isn't, and they all have to team up together to take on whoever the true villain is. The biggest villain that we've been hearing so far is Mr. Negative, but it sounds like this movie is going to include quite a handful of characters in it, including many different villains. And don't forget, Sadie Sink is still in this movie. We haven't heard much about her for a while since it was confirmed that she is going to be in the movie, but depending on who she plays, this movie could be absolutely insane. For example, we've heard reports that she could be playing Mayday Parker, but specifically Mayday Parker, who is the daughter of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and if that is the case, that means this is indeed going to be a multiversal movie. Everything we've heard about it so far makes it seem like it's going to be pretty grounded, which I think a lot of fans like, but this movie is going right into Avengers Doomsday, so there probably are going to be some multiversal elements to it, but her character is not confirmed to be Mayday.
When your auto insurance coverage is too big or too small, it feels
Parker. She still could be playing a true MCU version of MJ, an actual Mary Jane Watson. She could play Black Cat. She could play a version of Gwen Stacy. We'll have to wait and see, and I'm pretty sure they'll tell us that pretty soon. They're trying to get us hyped for the film now that it's begun filming, plus set photos come out as well, and that might reveal who she is, so Sony might want to get ahead of that. And speaking of things getting out from the set, there were some set photos that confirmed the Hulk is going to be in this film, but they also confirmed that he's going to be wanted. And this is actually great news, because what I believe happens is that Bruce Banner loses control, the Hulk breaks out, and then he starts smashing stuff, and he commits a bunch of crimes. Obviously, you can't just destroy things, so the authorities start to look for him, and that's how we get these wanted posters. So massive win for the Hulk right there. But we also have some new set photos showing us an armored vehicle with the Inner Demons logo on it, and according to new reports, Spider-Man Brand New Day is about to shoot an action scene with Spider-Man fighting the Punisher, who drives an armored vehicle through New York. Now, the Inner Demons is very interesting because in the comics, the Inner Demons are Mr. Sinisters. They work for Sinister, Martin Lee. And what's really interesting about this is in the comics, they kind of come around after the fall of Kingpin, and who knows what's happening in Daredevil Born Again Season 2, and who knows if it's really going to affect what happens in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Because Kevin Feige did say they want their TV shows, for the most part, to be kind of separate. Yes, they take place in the MCU, yes, they're connected, but you don't have to watch them to know what's going on in the movies. And he specifically said the events of the Thunderbolts are not going to affect Daredevil Born Again Season 2. But you would imagine Daredevil Born Again Season 2 ends with Kingpin no longer being in power. So perhaps that does play into effect what we get in Spider-Man Brand New Day, with no more Kingpin being in charge, but Mr. Negative stepping up. Either way, I'm super stoked to see the Punisher get into this armored vehicle that we see here and go up against not only Spider-Man, but the Hulk as well. And basically, the Hollywood Reporter confirmed that we're gonna get a pretty big three-way fight between the Hulk, Punisher, and Spider-Man. And we've heard before that Marvel Studios is preparing to film one of the biggest practical scenes that they have ever filmed before. So they're not going to rely too heavily on CGI. Obviously, there's going to be web slinging and such, and there has to be some CGI, but they're trying to do everything as practical as they can, which I think should turn out really, really well. Destin Daniel Cretton, who's directing Spider-Man Brand New Day, directed Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and that was an amazing movie. So I have faith for Spider-Man Brand New Day. This new suit looks great. The new reports about what we're getting with the Punisher and the Hulk sound amazing. We still have Sadie Sink's character to be revealed. A lot of exciting things coming up. Go ahead, let me know your thoughts and how excited you are in the comments down below.
Hey man, let me know what y'all think about, you know what I'm saying, Spider-Man Brand New Day. What do you think is going to be in it? What you think the plot is about? I ain't gonna lie, the whole Punisher and Spider-Man all fighting each other is crazy. Like, this is going to be something new, something different that we never got in a Spider-Man movie before. Our first ever 4 live-action Spider-Man movies. So this is about to be insane. A lot of characters, a lot of villains. They showing Scorpion coming in for the first time in live action. I wonder how the suit going to be. It's going to be crazy. Man, me personally, I was going to play live action Miles Morales, guys. Real talk, guys. I want to play live action Miles Morales, but y'all like the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, man. It's been LAMadeDaviae, and deuce.